Welcome to 3 minute highlights, 3MH here. I'm here with Iggy, and we're gonna talk about a very, very important subject. What is it, Iggy? You have that big smile on your face. What is it? What are we about to tell
Did we
the
actually
people?
did we actually start?
Yes, we actually started. We're actually recording right now. What do you have to say to
Okay.
the people of 3 minute highlights?
Thank you for 5,000 followers on TikTok.
Yes, we
Uh,
love
uh,
y'all. We love y'all.
uh, um, uh,
What?
it's funny because we did get like 700 followers overnight.
No, it's like 800, 900 now.
Yeah, that was like literally that was out of the blue. Cause I remember I woke up and then I kind of check. I always kind of check because
Two
I
videos
want to
popped
like
up.
go over. Yeah, I want to go over like the comments every morning and stuff. And then all of a sudden, it's just pages of just followed.
Your
I'm
screen just lagged.
It happens.
Bro, you need better internet.
Yeah, well, that's not really something I can just get.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look like pixels, bro. Anyway, you didn't tell the people what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What are we talking about?
We are going to focus more on the mental side of, I'd say, life, because it's not. This isn't necessarily specific to any sport. It's just more like a life lesson,
Yes.
if you'd say that.
But you, for you guys that are actually serious about achieving anything in life, I would highly recommend watching this whole video because we're gonna cover a lot of good information that have helped us in our personal experience to reach where we're at. For example, like so far, we've used all these methods or information to get 5,000 TikTok followers, um, get to college. Um, I'm in the process of going to college as well for soccer. Um, by next year, I should have a team. Um, the 900 Instagram followers and almost 200 subs on YouTube, and we're still growing. This is just the beginning. If you're watching this months from now, I recommend you to see like where we're at. We're probably much bigger by the time you're watching this. So
No, it's not. It's not probably. We
gonna be
are.
much bigger. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like I said, this is just the beginning. Our credentials will just start to build up as time goes by, and y'all will see. Y'all are seeing from the bottom to the rise of Iggy and I, with 3 minute highlights and everything we do. So, I mean, let's get started with the most controversial one. And keep in mind, a lot of this information is on our TikToks as well, and people seem to really get mad about it in the comments. I feel like it's something not many people want to hear or like to hear because it's the truth. And we're honestly here to help you, so we don't care if you get mad at us. We're here to tell you the truth for you to improve. So, E, why don't you get us started?
What is the what is the topic?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like,
What is the topic?
well, no, because you said like the controversial thing on TikTok. I thought you were doing something else first.
No, no, we're doing what's helping them. Okay, look, I'm gonna say the first one. That motivation is
Oh,
fake.
okay.
Motivation's fake.
Yeah.
So,
It, it's not that. Okay. It's not fake.
okay, yeah, it's
I
not
think
fake, obviously.
yeah,
It's not
you've
fake.
kind of just
It's not
absolutely
fake,
fluffed
but
it.
you should not rely on motivation. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, motivation can only take you so far. It's not something that will take you to the top, you know? Motivation, what I usually say is motivation is what gets you to start something, but discipline is what gets you to keep it going,
Achieve
you
it.
know? Motivation is what allows you to start your journey. Discipline is what takes you to the end. So I feel like that's something not a lot of people kind of get. because the truth is motivation runs out. It does expire in a way. It has an expiration, and no matter what your motivation is, if it's, oh no, you want to be better than this guy, at one point you will be, and then what? Like once you are, then what? Like you're just gonna stop? I mean, you could, but you've already done so much. Like why stop now? Or let's say you broke up with your girlfriend or your boyfriend. you, I mean, eventually you'll get over it, and or you'll find someone else. So there goes that motivation. You know,
Yeah. Um,
it's just motivation. Yeah, it's what's gonna start you on this little journey of yours. But once that motivation runs out, you need your discipline to kick in and just take you to the finish line. You know, if there is a finish line, it can go for forever, for as long as like you can. But yeah, it's definitely something that a lot of people don't really understand, I think. But I feel like if you've been in that situation, I feel like you can relate to it a lot because I'm sure everyone has done something purely out of motivation. And then after they are like not motivated anymore, they're like, okay, like I'll just stop now. Like a lot of people stop doing things because they don't want to do it anymore. They're not motivated enough to do it. So that's where your discipline has to kick in and just take you all the way.
yeah, and to add on to what you said, there's a quote that I vaguely like to hear, and it's pretty much saying how it's something similar about what he said. Like, well, it's pretty much the same quote, so I'm not just not gonna say it. But to add on to what Iggy said, like you said, motivation takes you so far, and you have to do something to add on to the discipline part. Is that you gotta do something that you don't like for you to make it as far as someone, right? So, for example, you see LeBron James, right? Um, Kobe Bryant, they did things that they did not want to do every single day. And that's something that everybody could take away from and think about, okay, yeah, what is something I don't want to do, but will do because it's better for me now, right? So this brings me to another quote that I really, really like to hear, and I really resemble with it in terms of like, because it keeps you going, right? There's only two types of pain, right? The pain of regret or the pain of discipline, right? So pretty much what that's saying is that you can have two pains in your life, right? So you can either, let's say, put everything for later and be like, okay, let me let me not do this because I don't want to do it. Um, I can just do that later. It doesn't matter. It's okay. It's just one training. It's just one workout, right? You you start doing that, right? And as time goes on, you're just gonna get to a point where, let's say, 3 months, 6 months go by, and you haven't gotten any better because you've been lazy, right? And just as the honest truth, that you're just gonna be like, oh, it's gonna get to a point where you're just gonna be like, oh, I could have been so good. I was better than you when we were kids. Now look at you, you're so successful. I just got stuck. I'm just not talented, right? Which is another thing. Talented sometimes is an excuse for many of these people that people use um, to feel better about themselves, right? Of this regret, right? And like you could choose that type of pain, or you could choose the pain of like, okay, I'm gonna do this now, so later I can be successful, right? I'm gonna do the things I don't want to do now, so I don't feel the pain of regret, you know? So yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say discipline is doing something you don't want to do because I'm sure people want to do these things. They just don't feel like doing them. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, oh, I want to wake up at 5 a.m. every morning, go on a run, eat healthy breakfast, yada yada yada. But they might not like. It's one thing to say it, and then there's a completely other thing to actually do it. Because you might want something, but you just don't really have what it takes to do it. Like you don't feel like doing it because you're not disciplined enough to do it, and that kind of also takes us to the kind of next point, which kind of you covered with the talented and the hardworking. The talent talent will only take you so far. It like motivation. Talent will only take you so far, but at some point, those that work hard will catch up to you and pass you. There's talent is not your potential is not endless when you're just talented and no hard work. Hard work beats talent 10 times out of 10. And I mean, everyone knows that. Like, everyone knows that, like, that's a very special quote. Like, everyone knows that it's something everyone says. So it's true. Talent can only get you so many places. It's like when you know something, say math, right? You might be really smart. So you know a lot of your math. And so you don't study for anything. You don't really go to lessons, right? Because you just know it all. At some point, the more levels you go up in math, the one who studies but didn't know much at the beginning of the year will start performing better than you because you stopped kind of being able to compete with the people at the top of your class. And those that have studied from the bottom will know what you know and keep learning. They'll learn, and in the end, they'll know more than you. So it's kind of the same thing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and a misconception of talent, to add on to what I was saying earlier as well, is that a lot of these talented kids, right? Talented kids, everybody says, "Oh, you're so talented. Oh my God, this is all talent, no hard work," right? Oh, like most of those kids are normally the laziest ones, right? And it's kind of like that misdeception, right? Of talent being everything, right? Because I'm a true believer that with hard work you can get anywhere, right? Anywhere you want,
Yeah.
uh, anywhere you achieve, as long as you stay disciplined with that hard work, right? Because a lot of these people also say that hard work is just one day, 1 week, and then you're done. You're like, oh, I worked so hard. Where's my results, right? Because when you do that, right, you could be literally at the door or at the end of the tunnel with the light, and you just decide to give up and go all the way back to the beginning. You know, when you give up. And what I'm trying to say is that the misconception with talent is that a lot of people use that as an excuse to do worse or to do better, right? Because there are some people that use this talent thing to do better because there's many cases of these people that are so trash at whatever they want to do. They start working so hard that to the point that they're getting compliments of, "Oh my God, you're so talented. Oh my God," and those people are like, "No, it's hard work. I didn't get talented because of me just being born. It was just me kind of working
Yeah.
hard and using my brain to be a problem solver, which has made me labeled as talented." If you know what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. It's funny because the that kind of, I guess, misconception about the whole talent and hard work thing. The people think that hard work, yeah, oh, if I most people when they start something, they'll do like I'd say 2 weeks of hard work. Well, they'll actually grind and they'll do what they should be doing for 2 weeks, and they won't see. A lot of people will not see results in 2 weeks, and then they'll be like, "Damn, so I'm wasting all this time because I'm not really seeing anything." And the thing is, if it were that easy, wouldn't more people be good at stuff? For example, let's put soccer, right?
Mhm. Hey,
If
football,
it were
football,
so
football. Hey, football,
my bad, my bad,
football.
my bad,
You don't want the comments going mad, bro. Football,
my bad.
football, bro.
Um, um, The football, mate.
The football.
Yeah, the football. Um, uh,
How can I even
when
take you serious now after that you called football soccer? I can't believe you.
I
I can't
um,
believe you.
if it was so easy to be so good, wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't more people be pro? You know, it's with everything. Why wouldn't it with any sport? If it were so easy, then why aren't you a pro then? Like football or soccer players, they all make at least the good ones make a good amount. They make a really good amount of money. So if it were so easy, why don't you do it? Because you'll live very happily. You'll play sports. It's not really your normal 9 to 5. And the thing is, people understand is that things take time. Nothing happens overnight. So when you want something, if you really want to be the best or you want to succeed at something, 2 weeks isn't enough. No
Yeah,
way 2 weeks is enough. You have to dedicate years. You
and
have to genuinely perfect your craft for you to actually be good. 2 weeks, it's it it's nothing. It's literally nothing.
and the thing
You
is,
can't rely on 2 weeks.
yeah, and the thing is that like behind all this hard work, as you said, with the many years of you working hard, that is what gives it value at the end of the day. Because like you were saying, is like let's say you worked hard for 2 weeks and you got a six pack, right? Or you got like to be like Messi in 2 weeks, right? Would it really be valuable? Like, do you really would you see Messi the same if that were the case? You'd be like, oh, every player does that. It just takes 2 weeks, bro. It doesn't matter. Like, there's no value to that, you know?
Yeah.
No
I
value.
mean, the thing is, the reason things are impressive is because you know how hard it is
To achieve it.
for that to actually happen. For example, if you were if you were a millionaire or a billionaire, right? And all your friends knew you from being broke or being some guy that didn't really care much about money. If you genuinely like work and become a millionaire or a billionaire, people will see you and they'll be impressed because they know that you worked hard for it. Because you don't just get $1 million or $1 billion overnight. It takes years to get to that level. And the people, there's always these little like scam. Oh, I'll teach you how to be, I don't know, a millionaire in 2 months or something like that. No,
1 week. 1 week.
it just doesn't happen that way. That's why things are impressive because they take time to perfect and to achieve. Because if they took little time to achieve, they wouldn't be impressive because everyone could do it. The reason things are impressive is because not many people can do it. So that kind of just differentiates the hard worker to the one that kind of just puts in 2 weeks, says, "Oh, I did work hard, but saw no progress, so I kind of just gave up because it wasn't really working." No, it was working. You just gave up before you saw anything.
Yeah, and that connects to the motivation that we were talking about earlier. Is that most of the time around those 2 weeks, uh, that's the motivation part of you talking, right? That's the easy part,
Yeah.
really. Putting in the hard work while you're motivated is the easy part. The hard part is when you don't want to do it, but you know the goal you want to achieve. So how bad do you want to achieve your goal? How bad do you want it? That's what it matters. How bad do you want it? Are you willing to do whatever it takes for you to get to that goal? You know, because at the end of the day, that's what mentality you need to have if you want to achieve it, right? If you want something, you need to go and get it, right? It's easy when you're motivated. It's easy to work your butt off when you're motivated. That's so easy. Where you like what differentiates the normal people with the successful people is doing the things that you don't want to do and doing them anyway, right? Which is involving that discipline that you need to have, right? Combined with that
Yeah,
motivation.
it's hard
And
work. It's the hard
yeah,
work.
and the thing people don't notice is that when you're putting these things on, right? Once you start doing the things you don't want to do when you don't want to do them, you gain more motivation because you're seeing your success at some point and you're going to be like, oh, damn, I achieved this by working this hard. What if I work for more time, you know? And by that time you get more successful, more successful, more successful. That's giving you extra motivation because you're like, oh, it's like a little reward that it's happening, right? For your hard work, and you're like, okay, let me keep doing it. You know, it's like a kid, right? Let's say they do a good deed, and you always give them a candy every time they do something good, right? You just give them one piece of candy, right? The kid's gonna be happy, and they're gonna keep doing that good deed. That's what a lot of people need to think about. You need to keep doing it, and even if it's dark for a good amount of time, right? There's two things you can do, right? Just keep working hard or just give up, on which is gonna be, right? And a misconception a lot of people do is they're working hard, but they're not using their brain. You need to use your brain and work hard for you to achieve a level that you want to achieve. Because if you're just endlessly working hard, right? You're not like you're gonna get some progress, but you're not gonna get much progress done. A good example, like working hard, right? Let's say you're kicking the ball, but you're not analyzing your mistakes. You're not gonna improve as fast as someone that is like, okay, why did I take that bad touch there? Okay, let me do this. Let me do this to fix my touch, right? Let me try this. Let me try that. That person is going to improve much faster than the guy that just is doing the work without thinking.
It's the people, let's say, that don't train. The people that when you're in a team, it's your teammates that only train when there's team training. They only do soccer or any sport stuff when their team is training together. When they're by themselves, they'll do nothing. They'll eat terribly. They won't work out. They won't train by themselves. They won't sleep much. That's kind of they're just okay being there, you know? Those that want to go above and beyond and really succeed are the ones that genuinely dedicate a lot more time. They will train outside. They will do more individual things. They will work out. They'll eat right. They'll get their rest they need. It's the people like that I'd say really succeed, not the people that go paycheck to paycheck. It depends your mindset going into your job.
Yeah,
So I feel like
completely agree with
that's
you.
definitely something that a lot of people need, not necessarily fixing, because yeah, there's some people that are just okay and are happy living paycheck to paycheck. Not a lot, but there are people that do it. I guess if that makes you happy, that's okay. So, but we've always want to kind of keep it more in the sports
Yeah,
terms.
yeah,
It, if you merely want to be there and you're happy with just being there, that's okay, but live with the consequences. Because if you are a starter and you just want to be there and you end up getting benched and then not playing at all, and then maybe even cut, don't complain when you were the one that put yourself in that situation. That's why there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, I don't have time. I don't have this. I don't have that." You have time. 90% of people that say they don't have time have time. They just prioritize the wrong things. Instead of spending the free time they have playing a sport, they're training for their sport in the gym, they're resting, they're eating right, all that. No, they'd rather be lazy. Oh, instead of going outside in the rain, I'm gonna stay indoors. I'm gonna play my Madden, my
the
2K, my
PS4.
FIFA. Yeah, I'm gonna stay inside. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. You know, oh, I don't know if I have time. I'm too tired. I don't really want to train today. Those are the people that stay down here. The people that really go above and beyond. It's raining, perfect. I bet my opponent is resting. I'm gonna train. You know why? Because I want to be better than my opponent. So I'm gonna train when he's resting, because that's when I will improve better, more than him at a quicker rate than him. As long as your opponent is resting and you are training, then you will succeed at
And
some point. You'll just become better than the next person. You always have to become better than someone else. You'll never be. Yes, some people will be the best players ever or whatever. But for most people, for 99.9% of people, there's always someone better than you. There's always someone that you have to beat. So that should always kind of push you to train whenever you can, whenever you find time. Because the people that really want something will make time for it. If you really
yeah,
want to, I bet those people that really want to play like PS4, Xbox, or whatever, they will make time for it. slack off their homework. They'll kind of rush it to do it instead of rushing your homework to play Xbox or PS4. Do your homework. Firstly, do your homework properly, right? But as soon as you finish your homework, go outside and train. Go to the gym. Go rest. Do something that will benefit your dreams or something that you actually want to achieve. Because if you actually want to achieve something like be a professional in a sport, yet you spend your free time going and doing something that isn't beneficiary, but something
Beneficial.
that doesn't benefit your goals or your dreams, then your dreams will stay dreams.
Yeah.
They won't become reality because you're not willing to make them a reality.
Another thing is that I wouldn't really say you need to be like you need to think, okay, he's not training, let me train, right? I think you need to train regardless because you need to compare like and different people think differently and it works for what type of person you are because some people get motivated by saying, okay, I want to become the best version of myself. Let me do this for me. Let me train and let me get better myself, right? Let me get better in my own way, right? For myself, right? And then there's other people. It's like, okay, I can be, let this guy be better than me. Let me train, and use that as motivation. For example, Michael Jordan used to make up things in his head just to play better, right? Just to motivate himself, be like that. Because I bet he realized at some point that he plays better while he's angry, right? Or when someone doubts him, and he just started making things up in his head. I think there's a story where someone didn't say hi to him just because they didn't hear him, and then he's like, "Oh, you're done for," right? And next time they played him, Michael Jordan completely destroyed him and said like, "Ignore me again," and then like you'll see what happens or something like that, right? And there's just crazy stories around Michael Jordan, and this is something that helped him get to the top. He knew himself, right? And he utilized that information to make himself better to boost his performance. So he knew himself and he used that to get to that next level, to that top level. Now he's the best basketball player in history, debatably with LeBron James, and it just explains to you what you need to do to get to that top level and how to use motivation to your advantage instead of just being this 2 week thing.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron James is not my goat, but yeah. And I mean, the people, I guess that it's we going back to the hard working type of thing and finding time for your dreams, I'd say. There's a lot of people that are like, "Oh, I have school. I don't have time." Yada yada yada. That's fine. You can think that, but the people that are actually going above and beyond and are going to make it are the ones that will wake up before school, like way before school, 2 hours, 3 hours before school starts. They will get a training session in, whether it's a workout, whether it's a on the field type of thing, a more they're sport related, not in the gym. They'll do something to benefit their dream before school. As soon as school ends, they'll do homework. They'll finish that. They won't procrastinate. They'll do it as soon as they get it. Boom, school done. 2 hours of homework done. Then after that, train again. You train again until dinner. Boom, you have dinner. Could you train again after dinner? Yes, depending the time. You could dedicate a little something to it. Just you have to find time to benefit your dream, or else your dream will simply stay a dream. Because the people that say it's just excuses, it really is. You have time. You really do have time. Like say you have school at 8, right? We'll make a quick like little routine here. Say you have school at 8. You end at 3 p.m. 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Okay. Wake up wake up at 5:30. 5:45 to 7 to say 7. Boom, you're training. You put in a session, right? Let's do more for like football, soccer, that type of thing. On the ball, you go on the ball. You do some ball mastery. You do drills for anything, passing, dribbling. On the ball drills from 6 to 7, around there. You have an hour of high intensity stuff. Then you have an hour, 7 to 8, 7 to 4, 7:45 to get ready for school. Boom, you go to school. You already had a training session in. The other people on your team, they haven't trained yet, but okay, you're already getting better than them. Then after school, come back, do your homework. So you come back at 3:30, let's say. 3:30 to 5:30, you're doing homework. If you finish your homework, all right, 5:30 to 6:30, another training session in the gym, let's say. Come back from the gym, eat dinner. 6:30 to something. Then, after dinner, analyze film. Do something that will help you. Because it's very easy to be, oh, I finished dinner. Oh, I already trained once today. I already trained today. You know, I can kind of rest. I can just go through TikTok for hours. I can play PS. I can do something else, you know. Trust me, enough, what you think is enough is never enough. There is so much more you can do and so much more that you have to do, because if you don't do it, you will simply be left behind, because there's
But
genuine people out there that will do and will go above and beyond to achieve their dreams.
yeah,
And that's why what you think is, "Oh, I've done enough. I've trained pretty much." It's not. There's people that have done so much more.
yeah, and you need to put it this way as well. Let's say you don't have film. Analyze someone in your position. Let's say you're a striker. Analyze
Yeah,
how in
watch
film.
watch a game.
Analyze his movement and try to implement things that you like into your game, and you will just see you like. And this is part of what I touched on earlier, to use your brain, right? This is something that you can apply your knowledge to, learn and apply that knowledge that you just learned into your game. Implement it until it just becomes a habit, right? Learn these things, and also y'all gotta understand, it's not necessarily all about training necessarily. It's all about knowing your body as well, because you can overtrain. That's a thing, right? And let's say you're in season and you know your body well, you need to prioritize that performance, right? But it also depends what age you are, because there's a certain age where you have a lot of energy. You can play like 3 matches a day, no worries, right? Because kids just have so much energy, right? Just utilize, just be smart about what you do, and let's say you know you can't handle as much. You're 18, 19, right? You can't handle as much as you could as a kid, right? Get in a 15-minute session with the ball, like every day, right? On top of your training session, right? Know your body, right? Don't go to the gym every single day. I'll keep it like 2 to 3 times a week for a soccer slash football player, um, and do things like plyometrics, um, that big compound movements, and certain stuff like that in the gym, and just use your brain in terms of like, okay, what's gonna be better for me? How can I learn this? Uh, what problem do I have? My touch is not good enough. I'm gonna hit the wall. Right, hit the ball with the wall 100 times each day. Right. My game knowledge is not enough. I'm gonna analyze film 30 minutes a day. And it's just something that you need to do on your own, and you need to think about what you need to do, right? And you just gotta get something consistent going in order to get results.
Yeah, I mean, with the whole 18, 19 thing, you're very 18, 19 is young. Like
Yeah, but
for
there's people
professional
that,
athletes, that is young.
yeah, but
Like
like,
you have to benefit your
yeah,
youth
but you
and
can't put
genuinely.
3 training sessions a day at that age, full
Well,
intensity. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to get at,
yeah,
so people don't
you
get the
obviously
wrong
have
message.
to. Yeah, you obviously
Yeah,
have to kind of measure yourself in a bit. You know, when I mean like 3 training sessions a day, you have to do things constantly, daily, that will benefit you and help you improve in what you're trying to do. It doesn't necessarily just have to be training like that. It can be a mental thing. You can meditate. You can do like yoga. You can do things like mindfulness. You can do things that will benefit you that doesn't involve, I guess, in a way, physical, I guess, activity. And But on another note about the hard working thing, there's a book which the name is it's not in my head yet, but the author is Malcolm Gladwell, and there's in this book which I had to read for an English class, but it talks about the 10,000 hour rule. Now this rule is very famous. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it without actually reading the book. The 10,000 hour rule suggests that you need to train or dedicate, properly dedicate, not half, not like do stuff like with no effort, properly dedicate 10,000 hours to your, I guess, dream or what you want to achieve. And once you've passed the 10,000 hours, you should be at a very good level. So this test was done with athletes and how often they train. They wanted to see how many hours they dedicate to their sport. And every top athlete, every professional athlete trained 10,000 hours before they became a pro. At least 10,000 hours. Some people went above and beyond 10,000 hours. So that's kind of, in a way, you can say the benchmark that you have to properly dedicate 10,000 hours of your, I guess, youth, your younger ages, your teenage years to training and dedicating time to your goal before you can actually achieve it. So I know that Matt Sheldon did a video about this, about seeing whether or not the 10,000 hour rule was true. And it was a while ago, but he kind of did the math and he actually realized that has trained around 10,000 hours, and he's now a professional soccer player.
He's been a professional soccer
Yeah,
player.
he's been a professional
He's
soccer
been
player.
a professional soccer player.
So yeah, that's kind of an idea you have to get. It's a good idea to start logging your, I guess, your practices and how much time you spent and all that, because it is a good thing to reflect on no matter how far you get and all that. It's good to see, it's good for your head, I guess, to see, oh, I've dedicated so much time. I'm very proud of myself for that. Or even you can use it as motivation. Like, I've dedicated so much time, why stop now?
My
So,
thing, my thing about that is that about time, right? It depends how you use that time because you could say
yeah,
that you do three
that's why I
hours.
said that that's why I said you have to dedicate, like properly dedicate. You can't do stuff like with not your full effort. You have to properly dedicate 10,000 hours to your goal before you can really be successful at it.
Yeah, because I mean, if you put 2 hours, let's say you went training 2 hours and one of that hour is like actual intense and the other hour you're just like messing around, right? It's just
Oh yeah, only one of those hours counts.
yeah.
The other
But
hour, you
well,
just wasted it.
yeah, but I wouldn't say wasted because like let's say you're just messing around like freestyling and everything. I feel like that's good for you in a way.
It has some, but
It's not as beneficial.
you're not putting the time
Yeah, it's
to its
not
best
as
use.
beneficial, but it's still helping you in a way, right? But yeah, uh,
I think it's also a good idea for people to, after they've done training sessions, workouts, or anything really, to properly reflect on it and kind of think back on it and say, could I have done more? Or like, could I have pushed myself more? Could I have done a drill at a higher intensity? Could I have done this a little better? I think it's good to do that because then you realize, oh, like next time I actually have to focus on this and make sure I do this better. Or next time I have to do this with a little more intensity. So I think it's a good idea for people to reflect on their training sessions, on their workouts, etc., so they know where they can improve and yeah, do better next time.
yeah, and it's just overall this video just to summarize is there's ways to use motivation to your advantage, but the most important thing is that you need to stay disciplined and you actually need to put in the work. Nothing's gonna come easy in life, So you need to be prepared for that, and you need to be willing to
Sacrifice.
sacrifice um, your time and things you'd like to do, so you can achieve the
Sacrifice.
things
You have to
that
sacrifice things that you
you.
don't need. So, for example, the like video games and all that. I'm
Doesn't
sorry to
really
break it to
matter.
you.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I'm sorry to break it to you, but does it really matter that you like broke some world record in a video game?
Like unless you're making high amount of money, it doesn't really matter.
You may not be willing to sacrifice your leisure time for like playing video games and all that, but the people that will succeed and will grow to become great, do great things, they are willing to sacrifice.
Yeah, but
So just kind
the
of
thing,
think of
the
that.
thing about that is that you could use that as a reward or a little thing to motivate you even more. Let's say you really like to play PS4, right? Okay, I need to do this training, and this training before I can get on the PlayStation for 1 hour, right? I feel like that's a good
I
way
don't really,
to put it that way. But
I don't really like that though.
you can use that to motivate yourself to put in the work if you know yourself that you're not going to. You know,
But
it depends on the
then
person.
again,
It
you
really
could
depends
just
on the
say,
person.
then again, as you say, like, oh, I have to do this training session, and then I can do a little bit of PS. People will rush it. People will be so eager to play that. Look, at that point, if you're that eager to play video games or whatever, just stop trying to achieve something in like professional sports or
No, 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 no,
in
no.
that
But
kind of
like,
thing,
but
because
the thing
you're
is,
not going to get it.
sometimes it's a process to let go of an addiction because sometimes this thing is an addiction, right? But there's people that have gotten out of addictions, have done great things in their lives, right? And I feel like as long as you get rid of this video game addiction, right? You can do it because I mean, there's many pros that sit down and play video games for a
Yeah,
good
but
amount of hours, but
are
in
they at the moment in their career where they have to be training multiple times a day and all that because they're still developing?
no, no, no,
No. If
no.
you
But
want to get
like
rid of your PS4 addiction, sell the PS4.
what I'm trying to say is that that it's better to get rid of it, yes, but it's okay like to play, let's say, 1 hour every week. You know, if if you're solely only worried about soccer, right? 1 hour every week won't affect you as much, right? Just as to say, one cheat meal a month won't hurt you, right? As long as you keep it 1 month and as long as you keep the discipline. The only thing is that if you're not that disciplined, that one thing drives you off completely. Like this, is where it comes into what I said earlier. You gotta know yourself and what type of person you are, right? Like let's say once you break your discipline once, you know that you start breaking off, then you know what to do, right? You just can't
Yeah.
break discipline,
I mean,
right?
that's the thing.
Like
I
you
don't
just
think
gotta know
people are
yourself. You just gotta know who you are as a person in reality.
like, look, I don't know who's watching, but the truth, the majority of the people are not disciplined enough to give up something like that. That's so easy and entertaining and like easy to do. Because playing Xbox is easy. You just it's in your room or in the room next door. You just go hop on, sit on a couch, and just kind of play, and you're entertained by it. And when it comes to the hard work, I'll lay it off a little, because the thing is, if you give someone, oh, you can do an hour PS4 a week. Oh, this week I worked hard. I can push it to two. Oh, I can push it to three. Most people, and I feel like what you're saying is too reliant on people being like strict on themselves, when in truth, most people are not.
No,
Because
yeah,
once you give
like I
people
said, you
that
gotta know yourself.
leniency, that oh yeah, you can do this once a week or something, they'll start pushing for more. That it's like a child. Let's say when you tell them, oh, you can have one one chocolate a week, right? That child won't be happy with one chocolate a week, so they'll kind of always bring it up like, oh, can I have another one? I know how. Can I have another one? and that all is gonna go inside of these like teenagers' heads. You know, it's going, oh, you know what? I think I can play an hour more and I'll be okay. You know, I think I'll be fine. And then they do that, and then it just gets worse and worse. And that's why I think, genuinely, if you really want to achieve something in whatever you want to do, obviously, if you want to be a gamer, you have to dedicate time to gaming. But if you don't want to be a gamer and what you want to do has nothing to do with video games, I'm telling you the best thing you can do right now is sell your video games. And or lock them away somewhere where you can't like get them. Because I'm being serious when I say that people will find time for things they enjoy. Because people, when they enjoy it, they'll find time for it. And people don't enjoy hard work. So that's the first thing they'll push for the thing they enjoy is the hard work. That's the first thing that gets cut in half. The first thing that gets rushed is the hard work, because that's the hard thing. And people are not willing to do the hard thing when they can replace it with something that's a lot easier and more fun. And that's why a lot of people do not succeed, is because they're not willing to sacrifice that lazy, that easy and fun for something that's hardworking. Because people, instead of working hard to then be able to enjoy that hard work later on, people rather just, I'll do everything half effort. So their kind of progression is like this, while someone that sacrifices is more like this. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, and I mean, you said it well. I got nothing to add on to that, really. You just said it well. You hit all the points. But is there anything else you would like to discuss in this podcast to the people?
Well, I guess just back to kind of something I said, that I'm a firm believer that genuinely people think they've done enough, they haven't done enough. I cannot express that enough. Like, I know I said enough a lot, but genuinely, there's people out there that want it more than you, and that's genuinely the truth. Just think about how many people there are in the world. For example, we'll stick this up because we know soccer. There's hundreds of millions of kids that want to be a pro. They dream of being a pro. A lot of those kids, that dream will stay a dream real quick. Like real quick, they'll see they're not going to do it. They're not willing to do it. They die off really quick in their early years. Then you get the people that are there, you know. Oh, but then they unlock the phone, you know. They unlock the video games. They unlock the PS4, the TV. That's when you lose a lot of people. And then there's still the people that, and this is why I'd say the best players come from very poor backgrounds. Why do they come from poor backgrounds and they grow to become the best? What else do they have to do if they're not training? What else are they don't have a PS4 to play all day. They don't necessarily have a phone where they can do all that.
Not
So what else are
necessarily.
they going to do?
Not necessarily. A lot of
A
them do
lot
it
of them,
because that's the
one is
only
because they
thing
don't,
they can do in
yeah,
order to
because they
get
don't
out
have
of poverty.
distractions.
No, it's the only thing they can do to
Well,
get
yeah,
out of
because they're,
poverty. They have that motivation
and
to help their
that goes
family.
back to the thing. They're willing to sacrifice a lot of time because they know that they have to do this if they want to be.
They just
Their
know they have
happiness
nothing to lose.
is out of
That's
that.
why.
Is out of that. Yeah, and people are like, you know what? Oh, if I don't get the, I can do this. No.
They got
These
nothing
people
to lose.
have no choice. These people have no choice, and that's why they're willing to do everything, absolutely everything, to make that dream a reality. While a lot of people are, this dream is, yeah, they'll say it. They'll say it to themselves. They'll say, "I want to be a pro. I want to do this. I want to do that."
They're
But
just
it's
words.
one thing to say something, and it's a completely different thing to actually go ahead and do it. Hundreds of people miss out on their dreams because they genuinely, even though they thought they did enough, they did not beat those that had nothing to lose and that were willing to put everything on the line for it. Because those are the people that truly, truly succeed. And yeah, there are rare anomalies where there's the one person out of millions that might succeed from because they were right place, right time, didn't necessarily have the same work ethic as a lot of more people that didn't make it, but they were always there, they right team at the right time that succeeded so much, so they kind of got pushed into the good category, so people liked them, and then it's just like that. But look, genuinely, you have to dedicate your pretty much your life to what you want to do if you really want to be successful. If you really want to be successful, you have to dedicate time, like hella time to it. And yeah, people will say, "Oh, I have school." I'm telling you right now, everyone has school. But the people that are willing to put everything on the line are not, school is not an obstacle for them.
And this
It's
is
really not.
this is a very good example of the quote we used on TikTok a couple days ago, which is if if you wanted if you want to change your life, you will find a way. If you don't, you will find an excuse. And you can apply this into
Exactly.
soccer, right?
Exactly.
Like if
Yeah,
you really want it,
exactly.
you will do whatever it takes to do it. But if you don't want it bad enough, you will just find an excuse. Like we said, oh, he was just so talented, or oh, this injury, right? Sometimes injuries do prevent you, right? But there's a lot of times where it's just a muscle injury or a thigh injury, and they're just like, oh, I got injured once, okay, I give up. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
just
And
think
it takes
about
a
it,
lot of
right?
mental power to come back from an injury, but you gotta actually want it, right? And grind, right?
And genuinely think about it. The people that say, "Oh, but I have school," I let's put
That's
this
another
like
one.
this. Okay, let's put this like this. Say to sleep, you need 8 hours. 8 hours is a good amount of sleep, right? 8 hours
Eight
is
to ten
good.
hours for an athlete.
Yeah. Okay, we'll say 10. We'll say 10 for the benefit of the doubt. But very rarely do athletes get 10 hours. Now, school, 8 hours as well. Well, the day is 24 hours long, my friend. You slept for 10. School is 8. Are you telling me that in the 6 hours that you have left of the day, you don't have time to train or do something? Like, really? Just think about it. 6 hours you have outside of school and sleep where you can train and where you can do something. Say you have home. I say you have homework for 3 hours a day every day, right? Let's say in theory. That means you have 3 more hours where you can do something, where you can train. You can get a gym session in and an on the field training, like on the ball training, in those 3 hours. Hour and a half each. Really easy. You don't have access to a gym, you can do body weight exercises at home. Very easy to find online. That they can benefit everything, right? You can do abs, you can do every single muscle group. You can do it at home with a body weight. You don't need a gym membership. Oh, field's too far. You don't need a field to train. You can do it in your garage. You can do it in the road. You can do it in your back garden. It doesn't matter what type of surface you're on. You can train. That's not an excuse. People that truly are putting everything on the line do not use that as an excuse. They don't have an excuse. And people that say, "Oh, I don't even know what other excuse you can say."
Yeah,
Trust me, you can get it. You can train. And the thing is, if you don't have the time and you're sleeping 10 hours, I'm good. Like, you can sleep for 8. You can. 8 is enough. 8 is good amount of. 8 is actually good amount of sleep.
and
Oh, now you added 2 more hours. Guess what you can do in those 2 hours? Train. Like, there is no excuse if you say, "Oh, I trained hard," but hey, what? You didn't train hard enough. If you didn't make it, you didn't train hard enough.
another
And
thing is that when you don't have things like you don't want to do certain things, there's always a voice that is gonna tell you, "I no," and it's gonna tell you the best option. For example, you wake up early, right? The little voice is just gonna take over and be like, "Okay, no, let's just stay asleep 5 more minutes," right?
yeah, then you
Like,
slap that voice.
yeah,
You
you
tell
need
that
to
thing to
slap
get
that
out of
voice.
there. Yeah, you have that.
Exactly.
That's discipline. That's discipline. See,
Exactly.
that's your discipline having to take over, because you genuinely have your brain will always. Your brain is wired to
The
want everything
easiest
to be
thing.
relaxed.
Yeah.
Why would someone want to do hard work when they can do something that's easy? That's why you have to be disciplined enough to overcome what your brain is telling you to do, even
Slap
though
it.
you know, even your brain knows that what you have to do is train and do all this and this, not go back to bed, not play video games. But your brain will tell you that because it's easy. And that's why you have to be disciplined enough to do the hard work when the brain isn't willing to do so. If you're too tired, train anyway. Like the if if you slept enough and you're like not sleep deprived and you feel tired, train anyway. Cuz I guarantee that those tired training hours that you have work a lot more, and also the more you combat your brain's little voice, the easier it gets. It gets easier because the brain realizes that whatever it sends you, it ain't working. So why waste its time? It just once you really get into the grind, it becomes a lot easier. If you know what I mean. Starting and keeping that is decently hard, and then once you really get into a rhythm, into a routine,
You're
it's
going.
it becomes easier.
You're going. Anyway, I hope y'all got a lot of this life lesson that we have for a lot of y'all, and this has worked for us both with everything in our life so far, and we will continue to see how far it takes us, right? And the further we take it, we'll look back at this video and see how much that we applied that have worked, and I'm sure we'll keep thinking the same way as we go. We'll have things to add on, and yeah, I hope that y'all got value out of this video. And do you have anything else to say to the audience, Iggy?
No, I think I've said enough.
I don't know. Yeah, and we hope that you apply at least something, or that you are applying a lot of the things we said, because this at the end of the day is to help y'all. We want y'all to succeed, the ones that listen, right? And I mean, if you're watching this far, you're definitely one of the guys that want to get better, and we think that you will make it far as long as you work hard, right? And that's what a 3 minute highlight subscriber is. A guy that's willing to do anything, even when they don't want to do it. And those are the guys that will succeed. And yeah, until next week.
Yeah.
See ya.